On Christmas Eve, my sister slammed her planner on the table and announced, "You'll watch the kids for 10 days. We're flying to Hawaii." Everyone at dinner laughed like it was already settled. I said one word. No. Silence hit the room. The next morning, they showed up at my door with luggage. That's when everything snapped. My name's Ethan. I'm 29. If you ask my family, I've always been the quiet one. The one who doesn't cause trouble. The one who doesn't speak up. And that's exactly why they thought they could walk all over me. Growing up, my older sister, Valerie, was the golden child. Straight A student, captain of the debate team, got the scholarships, married the lawyer. My parents adored her. Me? I worked my way through community college, pulled long shifts at a hardware store, and scraped together a simple life. But somehow, nothing I did ever measured up. Valerie's always had this way of turning her needs into family obligations. When she got married, I was the free labor to set up tables and haul boxes. When she had her first kid, I became the on-call babysitter. No, thank you. No money for gas. Not even a "do you have time?" It was just assumed. Ethan will do it. Ethan doesn't have a life. Except this time, I wasn't playing along. When she declared her Christmas vacation plan at the dinner table, I felt something inside me break. I was done. So I said no? Her jaw actually dropped. My mom shot me this look like I had just cursed in church. Dad cleared his throat, but stayed silent. Valerie's husband, Greg, kept eating ham like nothing was happening. And my sister? She smiled. But it wasn't a nice smile. It was the kind that promised payback. I thought that was the end of it. The next morning, I woke up to pounding on my apartment door. I opened it, and there they were. Valerie, Greg, and 2 kids clutching stuffed animals, with 3 giant suitcases behind them. Valerie didn't even say hello. She just pushed past me. "We didn't get your text," she chirped. "Flight leaves in 2 hours. Don't let them stay up late." I froze. My chest tightened. I felt cornered in my own home. "No, Valerie," I said again, louder this time. "I meant it. I'm not doing this." For a split second, panic flickered across her face. Then she laughed. "You're joking. Ethan, stop being dramatic. You live alone. You're literally perfect for this." I pointed to the door. "I'm not your babysitter. Get out." Greg sighed, rubbed his forehead, and muttered, "Told you he wasn't going to do it." But Valerie ignored him. "You're going to regret this," she hissed, yanking her kids back toward the hallway. Her voice dropped low, sharp enough to cut glass. "You think the family's on your side? Watch." Then she left. My knees were shaking, but I locked the door. For the first time in years, I'd actually stood my ground. I thought maybe I could breathe. I was wrong. That night, I got a text from my mom. "Valerie said you refused to help. We're disappointed, Ethan. Family doesn't abandon family." Abandon? Was I insane, or had I just said no to being used? The next day, a note was taped to my door in Valerie's handwriting. "You'll regret this." My stomach dropped. Regret what? Saying no? Setting boundaries? Then came the kicker. That evening, my phone buzzed. A picture of Valerie on the beach in Hawaii, cocktail in hand, with the caption, "Kids are fine. Hope you're enjoying your lonely holiday." That's when I realized this wasn't about babysitting. This was about control. She didn't need me. She wanted to prove she owned me. But not anymore. And that choice? It lit a firestorm that would tear my entire family apart. I thought the drama had peaked when Valerie sent that smug beach photo. I figured, fine, let her have her games. I'd spend Christmas alone, watch movies, eat leftover Chinese, and let the storm pass. But storms don't pass when Valerie's involved. They grow. 2 days later, I woke up to 10 missed calls and 3 voicemails from my mom. I didn't bother listening. I knew exactly what they'd say. "Fix this, Ethan. Do the right thing. Family first." Then, around noon, the apartment buzzer rang. My stomach knotted. I opened the door. It was Greg. Alone. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept. His voice was low, shaky. "Valerie's furious with me. She told everyone I pressured her into the cruise and dumped responsibility on you. She's telling your parents you're unstable." My jaw dropped. "Unstable? Are you kidding me?" He shook his head. "I don't even know what's true anymore. I just wanted a vacation. But she's using this to tear you down." I didn't know whether to laugh or scream. Valerie wasn't content with painting me as selfish. Now she was building a case that I was broken, crazy, dangerous. Greg rubbed his temples. "She wants me to back her up. She said if I don't, She'll make my life hell. Honestly, Ethan, I don't know how much longer I can do this. For a second, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then he handed me a folded piece of paper. She asked me to give you this. It was a typed letter. Formal. Like something drafted by a lawyer. If you continue to neglect family obligations and refuse reasonable support, you may be excluded from future family matters. Future family matters. Excluded. She was threatening to erase me from my own bloodline. I laughed out loud, bitter and sharp. Is this a joke? Greg shrugged. I don't know, man. But she's serious. When he left, I sat at my kitchen table staring at the letter. My phone buzzed again. A group text lit up the screen. My mom, dad, Valerie, even some cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. Valerie had added me to a family emergency chat. The messages rolled in like bullets. Ethan, you need help. You've embarrassed us all. Why would you hurt Valerie like this? We're worried about your mental state. I felt my throat close. She had done it. She'd convinced the entire family I was unstable because I said no. My heart pounded. I wanted to type back, to defend myself, to scream the truth. But then another message popped up. A screenshot. My own words. From an old text months ago, when I had joked with Valerie, some days I think I'd be better off just disappearing. She posted it in the group chat with the caption, "This is what I've been dealing with. He's not okay." My vision blurred. She was weaponizing my private words, twisting them into proof that I was dangerous, unreliable, unfit to make decisions. And the family? They believed her. My dad wrote, "Ethan, your sister is right. You need professional help. Until you get it, don't contact us." That was the moment I realized this wasn't just sibling rivalry. It was war. But then, something unexpected. A new text appeared in the group chat. Not from me. Not from Valerie. From Greg. "You all need to stop. Ethan didn't do anything wrong. Valerie's been lying." My pulse spiked. The chat exploded instantly. Valerie demanded to know what he meant. Mom begged him not to cause more damage. Dad told him to call immediately. Greg didn't respond. Instead, 10 minutes later, he showed up at my door again. Pale, trembling. He held up his phone. I told them, "She's going to lose it. You have no idea what's coming." I stared at him. "Why are you helping me?" He swallowed hard. "Because she went too far. She told me her plan, Ethan. She wants to cut you out completely. Change Mom and Dad's will. Make you the enemy forever. She won't stop until you're gone." The room spun. My ears rang. This wasn't about babysitting anymore. This was about Valerie rewriting reality itself. Greg looked me dead in the eye. "You better be ready. Because when she gets back from Hawaii, she's going to destroy you." And that's when I knew I wasn't just defending my boundaries anymore. I was fighting for survival. The night after Greg's warning, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, heart pounding, mind racing. My sister wasn't just angry. I finally understood. She was building a case to erase me. Every text, every word, every little joke I'd ever said could be twisted into proof. I was the unstable screw-up. And the worst part? The family bought it. They always did. The next morning, I made the mistake of opening the family emergency chat. Hundreds of messages overnight. All of them about me. "Ethan needs intervention. We can't just sit back. He's a danger to himself." Danger? Because I said no to babysitting? I typed back, "Stop. I'm not unstable. I'm not dangerous. I'm just done being used." 3 dots appeared, then vanished. No reply. Then suddenly, boom. A new message lit up the chat. From a name I hadn't seen in years. Aunt Linda. Linda was Mom's younger sister, the black sheep. The one who lived across the country, only showed up at weddings and funerals. Family whispered about her like she was some scandal. But her message cut through the noise like a blade. "Leave Ethan alone. I've seen this before. Valerie is manipulating all of you." I sat frozen. My pulse hammered in my ears. Linda? Defending me? The chat went nuclear. Mom fired back instantly. "Stay out of this, Linda. You don't know the whole story." Linda replied, "I know enough. I was the scapegoat once. Now it's Ethan. Open your eyes." I couldn't breathe. Was this real? After years of silence, suddenly I wasn't fighting alone. The group split instantly. Half the family rushed to defend Valerie. Half felt awkwardly quiet, unsure what to believe. And then, Valerie herself popped up from Hawaii. "Oh please, don't listen to Linda. She's projecting her failures onto Ethan. This is about his behavior, not mine." My blood boiled. I typed, "You want to talk about behavior, Valerie? How about showing up at my door with luggage and threatening me because I refuse to be your servant?" She responded within seconds. Wow, dramatic much? That never happened. I stared at the screen in disbelief. She was rewriting history in real time, gaslighting the entire family. But then, Linda again. Funny, Greg already told me it happened. He called me last night. He's tired of covering for you, Valerie. The chat exploded. Valerie typed in all caps, "Greg is lying. He's weak. He always betrays me." My jaw dropped. She just admitted it. Right there in the chat. I leaned back in my chair, half laughing, half shaking. The irony was too much. Years of being invisible, and suddenly I was the center of the storm. Mom tried to calm things down. Enough. This isn't helping. But Linda didn't stop. It is helping. Ethan, listen to me. Don't let them break you. Your sister has done this before. She'll do it again. Protect yourself. Protect myself. Her words hit hard. Like someone finally reached into the chaos and handed me a shield. I typed back privately, "Why are you helping me?" She replied instantly, "Because I know what it's like. Your mom and Valerie did this to me years ago. They turned the family against me until I disappeared. I won't let them do it to you." I sat there shaking. All these years, I thought Linda was the problem. Turns out, she was the only one who saw the truth. But just as I felt the tiniest bit of relief, a knock hit my door. Not a polite knock. A pounding. I opened it and nearly collapsed. My parents stood there, right outside my apartment. Mom's face was tight with anger. Dad's arms crossed. "We need to talk," Mom snapped. "Now." My stomach dropped. I knew this wasn't a casual visit. Valerie had sent them. She was pulling the strings from thousands of miles away. I swallowed hard, my hands trembling. And in that moment, I realized the war wasn't digital anymore. It had just arrived at my doorstep. When I opened the door, my parents stormed in like they owned the place. Mom didn't even wait for me to offer. She brushed past me, sat on the couch, and folded her arms. Dad followed, stiff and silent. "We need answers, Ethan," Mom said sharply. "What's wrong with you? Why are you sabotaging this family?" I blinked. Sabotaging? For saying no? Her voice rose. "Don't play dumb. Valerie told us everything. You're unstable, you're cruel, and you're trying to turn people against us." I laughed, bitter and loud. "Unstable? Because I wouldn't babysit her kids? That's your definition of unstable?" Dad finally spoke, his tone low and heavy. "Your sister said you threatened her. She said you slammed the door on the kids and scared them. Is that true?" My jaw dropped. "Threatened? That never happened. She showed up with luggage and I told her to leave. That's it." Mom shook her head, disappointed. "Ethan, why are you lying?" Something inside me snapped. "Lying? You've believed Valerie over me my whole life. Do you even hear yourselves? She rewrites reality, and you just clap along." Mom's eyes narrowed. "She's responsible. She has a career, a family, a home. You? You live in this little apartment, paycheck to paycheck, no stability. Who are we supposed to believe?" I felt the blood drain from my face. That was it. That was the truth. To them, success wasn't about honesty or integrity. It was about appearances. Valerie looked perfect, so she was perfect. Then Dad delivered the gut punch. "She told us she had to cover your debts once. Thousands of dollars. She bailed you out. Do you deny that?" "What?" I nearly shouted. "I've never taken a cent from Valerie. I still have student loans. Yes, but I've handled them myself." Mom leaned forward. She showed us records, Ethan. Bank transfers. Years ago, you begged her for help, and she gave it. She's been carrying you. My stomach twisted. Records? Transfers? That was impossible. Unless Valerie forged it. Before I could speak, my phone buzzed on the table. A new message from Aunt Linda. I opened it. My eyes widened. It was a scanned document. An old family trust. One I didn't even know existed. Linda's message read, "This is why Valerie's doing it. She's been siphoning money from the family trust for years. Blamed it on you." I found proof. My chest tightened. The room spun. I looked up at my parents, who were still glaring at me like I was a criminal. "You want the truth? Fine. Valerie's been stealing from all of us. She forged records to make it look like I borrowed. Aunt Linda just sent me proof." Mom's face went pale. "Don't you dare drag Linda into this." But Dad leaned forward, suddenly uneasy. "Proof? What kind of proof?" I shoved the phone at him. He squinted, lips moving as he read. His face drained of color. It shows withdrawals, he muttered. From the trust. In Valerie's name. Mom shot up from the couch. That can't be right. Valerie wouldn't. She would. I snapped. She always gets what she wants, no matter who pays for it. And when she needed someone to blame, she chose me. Because you'd believe it. Mom shook her head violently. No, no, no. She told us you begged her. Begged her. I laughed, sharp and sarcastic. Do you see me living large? Driving new cars? Flying to Hawaii? That's her. That's always been her. And you still think I'm the problem? Dad rubbed his forehead, shaken. For once, he didn't have a quick answer. But Mom doubled down, her voice trembling with anger. Even if that's true, Ethan, she's still family. You don't air dirty laundry. You don't attack your own sister. I stared at her, stunned. So she can rob me blind, destroy my reputation, and you'll still defend her? Yes. Mom snapped. Because she's successful. She takes care of things. You're just bitter. My hands curled into fists. Sarcasm burned on my tongue. Right? Because nothing screams success like stealing from your own family trust and blaming your brother. Dad stood suddenly. His face was pale, conflicted. I need to talk to Valerie. Alone. Mom followed, muttering angrily. The door slammed behind them. I stood in the silence, chest heaving, fists trembling. For years I thought I was just invisible. But now I saw it clearly. I wasn't invisible. I was the scapegoat. The fall guy for Valerie's perfect little image. And thanks to Aunt Linda, I finally had proof. But proof didn't mean safety. Because when Valerie realized her lies were exposed, she'd come for me harder than ever. The next 2 days were pure tension. My parents went radio silent, but I could feel the storm brewing. Valerie's texts kept hitting the family chat, twisting every word. Ethan's delusional. He's fabricating documents with Linda. I can't believe my own brother would stoop this low. Fabricating? She was already setting the stage for her defense. Then, just as I was debating whether to block the whole family, my buzzer rang again. I opened the door and nearly fell over. Aunt Linda, standing there in the flesh, suitcase in one hand, manila envelope in the other. Mind if I come in? She asked, eyes sharp, voice steady. I stepped aside, still in shock. She set the envelope on my table, glanced around my small apartment, and sighed. You don't deserve this, Ethan. None of it. I sat down across from her, my throat tight. Why are you here? She leaned forward. Because Valerie's about to spin this so hard you won't recognize the truth anymore. And before she does, I need you to know what's really at stake. She opened the envelope. Inside, more documents. Bank statements. Legal papers. And then something that made my blood run cold. A copy of my grandparents' will. I whispered, what is this? Linda's voice hardened. The family trust. The one your parents never told you about. It wasn't just for Valerie. Half of it was meant for you. I froze. Half. She nodded. Your grandparents left it split evenly. But when you were in college, Valerie convinced your parents you weren't responsible. She pushed them to hold your share in her name until you proved yourself. Then she drained it. My stomach dropped. The irony was almost unbearable. Years of them calling me unstable, irresponsible, less than, while Valerie quietly robbed me blind under the guise of protecting me. Why didn't anyone tell me? I asked, my voice breaking. Linda's eyes softened. Because your mom believed Valerie. She always has. And your dad went along to keep the peace. I fought it years ago, but they shut me out. I was the crazy sister, remember? I pressed my hands to my face. A bitter laugh escaped. So all this time, while I struggled to pay rent, while I ate ramen and worked double shifts, Valerie was living off my half of the trust? Yes, Linda said firmly. And now she's terrified you'll find out. That's why she's smearing you. If you look like the unstable one, no one will believe your claim. Anger burned hot in my chest. My hands shook as I picked up the will, reading the neat typed lines that spelled out exactly what I should have inherited. It wasn't millions, but it was enough to change my life. Enough to clear my loans, buy a house, build stability. And Valerie had stolen it. I looked up at Linda. Why are you helping me now? Her lips pressed thin. For a moment, she looked away, almost ashamed. Because there's more. Something I should have told you years ago. My heart pounded. What? She took a deep breath. Your mom and dad didn't just favor Valerie. They covered for her. When she forged those transfers, she used your social security number. She made it look like you authorized it. If this ever went to court, on paper, you'd be the thief. My breath caught. Are you serious? Linda nodded. Dead serious. I begged them to stop her, but they wouldn't. Said it was for the good of the family. I slammed my fist on the table. For the good of the family. She committed identity fraud. Linda's eyes met mine. That's why I kept the documents. I knew one day you'd need them. The weight of it hit me all at once. Valerie hadn't just stolen money. She had stolen my name, my reputation, my future. And my parents had let it happen. Tears burned my eyes, but I forced them back. So what do I do now? Linda leaned closer, her voice low, urgent. You fight. Valerie's coming home soon, and when she does, she'll try to bury you. But you've got leverage now. You've got proof. And Ethan. She paused, her tone sharpening. She's hiding something even bigger. That's why she's desperate. And when it comes out, the whole family will see who she really is. I stared at her, chest tight, adrenaline surging. What could possibly be bigger than this? Linda's eyes flickered with something I couldn't read. Trust me, you'll find out soon enough. Valerie came back from Hawaii like a queen returning from exile. She didn't text me, didn't call. But 2 nights later, she stormed into my apartment building, dragging her suitcase behind her, fury practically radiating off her. You think you won? She hissed the second I opened the door. You and Linda? Pathetic. I stepped aside, calm on the outside, though my pulse was racing. Come in, Valerie. Let's clear this up. She smirked, brushing past me like she owned the place. Oh, it'll be cleared up. Mom and Dad are filing paperwork tomorrow. You'll be officially cut out of the family trust. Permanently. I laughed, bitter and sharp. Funny, considering the trust was half mine to begin with. Her eyes flickered, just for a second. Then she scoffed. Please, no one believes you. That's when the knock came. Loud. Firm. Valerie frowned. Who's that? I opened the door. Aunt Linda stepped in, holding the thick envelope of documents. And behind her, my parents. The room froze. Linda laid the papers on the table. Time's up, Valerie. We're doing this here and now. Mom bristled. Linda, this is unnecessary. But Linda's voice cut like a knife. Unnecessary? Your daughter stole from her own brother, forged his name, drained his inheritance, and you called it family loyalty. Enough. Valerie's face twisted. You have no proof. Linda slapped the envelope. Wrong. I kept everything. Bank records. The will. Even notarized copies. And Ethan isn't the only victim. The air went still. What do you mean? I asked, my throat tight. Linda's gaze never left Valerie. She didn't just drain your share, Ethan. She took from everyone, even her kids' college fund. And, she paused, then dropped the bomb. She took money from Dad's medical account while he was in the hospital. That's why the bills went unpaid. My dad's head snapped toward Valerie, his face pale. You did what? Valerie stammered, voice shaking. That's a lie. She's twisting everything. But Linda cut her off, pulling out one last document. A signed withdrawal slip. Valerie's signature, bold as day. Mom gasped. Dad staggered back like he'd been punched. I couldn't breathe. My sister. The golden child. The perfect one. She hadn't just stolen my future. She'd stolen from her own father when he was sick. Valerie's mask cracked. She dropped into a chair, hands trembling. I needed it. Greg's business was failing. I didn't have a choice. No choice. I exploded. You had every choice. You could have told the truth, asked for help. But instead you blamed me. You let them call me unstable. You erased me just to protect yourself. Tears blurred my vision, but the anger kept pouring out. All those years you told me I was selfish, lazy, worthless. You were projecting. That was you. The room shook with silence. Finally, Dad spoke, his voice breaking. Valerie, how could you? She didn't answer. She just buried her face in her hands, sobbing. Mom looked at me, eyes wide with shame. For once, she had nothing to say. Linda placed a hand on my shoulder. It's over, Ethan. They can't deny it now. And for the first time in my life, I felt it. Not guilt, not invisibility. Freedom. I turned to my parents, my voice steady. You always said family was everything. But family doesn't steal. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't destroy someone just because they can. If that's your definition of family, I don't want it. The words hung in the air like thunder. Then I walked to the door, opened it wide, and looked at them all. Get out. They hesitated. But one by one, they filed out. Even Valerie, broken, dragging her suitcase, unable to meet my eyes. When the door clicked shut, the silence was deafening. But it wasn't the heavy silence of guilt this time. It was peace. I collapsed onto the couch, shaking with adrenaline, tears streaming down my face. And then, for the first time in years, I laughed. A deep, unshackled laugh. Because I finally understood, I wasn't the weak one. I wasn't the unstable one. I wasn't the problem. I was free. And Valerie? She was nothing more than the villain of her own story, finally unmasked. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought, or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.